Well, Josh was just talking about how good it was to see Nikola having fun. Said his first text in a couple months was the other day. So we saw some of what Nikola did, but how fun, how enjoyable was your summer? You know, you've coached for so long to finally reach the mountaintop.
Yeah, when I first got in the league, Jeff Van Gundy said something that didn't make a lot of sense at the time, but this year really did. Is that your goal in the NBA is to have a short summer, and to play into the middle of June makes for a quick summer, short summer, but you make the most of it. And I would much rather have a short summer than be done in April, which has happened in the first couple of years here while I was in Denver. But great summer. Spent a lot of time with my wife, my kids, my family, and got away a little bit. But today is the start of a new season, a new challenge, and we understand what's at stake. We're going to get everybody's best 82 games this year. We've gone from being a team that has been hunting the teams in front of us to now we're going to be the hunted. And hopefully our guys understand the responsibility that comes with being a defending champion. And there can be no off nights because we're getting everybody's best 82 times this year.
You guys bring back basically the same roster except for one, Bruce Brown. How do you make up for his minutes and his presence and his leadership?
Well, I think Jeff Green and Ish Smith are also really important losses. So obviously I know a lot of people focus on Bruce and the value and versatility that he brought to our team. But I think Jeff Green was a very important piece as well. And maybe Ish didn't get the time on the court, but his value and impact in practice, in the locker room as a leader, all three of those guys will be missed. But we're going to do it by committee. That's why training camp is exciting because we have our starting five back intact, and we know how impactful they were as a unit. I think analytically the best five-man unit in the NBA last year. So now, who can join Christian Braun? And Reggie Jackson had a great offseason, was here quite a bit, and Reggie put a lot of time into his craft, but also is invaluable because of the time he spent with all of our young players this summer. Peyton Watson, I think in the last couple of weeks of the regular season showed glimpses of being the player he has a chance to be and the potential that he has. Peyton's going to get a chance to play, and I'm excited to watch his progression and how he handles this opportunity. We added a player in Justin Holiday who's been around the NBA, high character player. He'll be a guy that has a chance to play for us. DeAndre, Zeke, obviously, unfortunately, Vlatko suffering that ACL injury. He'll be out this year. But then you talk about the guys that we drafted, Julian, Hunter, Jalen. So once again, competition is healthy. I look forward to watching these guys play and compete. And it's not going to be one player that's going to take the role of Bruce Brown. It's going to be a committee.
Coach, Josh said naturally when someone achieves the big goal, which is the championship, naturally relax. How do you plan to that doesn't happen and to control the team to repeat that and be mindset to the new goal?
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. John Wooden, the legendary coach of UCLA, had a great quote, and I think applies to our group. To win, you have to have talent. To repeat, you have to have character. And here's a guy that won 7 in a row at UCLA. So yeah, we have talent, but are we going to be thinking about last season? Because in my eyes, last season is over. I can't wait to get to opening night, raise the banner, receive a ring, and that's the cherry on top. But this is a brand new year. Things change quickly in the NBA. Think about the last week. The NBA landscape has shifted dramatically in a week's time, right before we start this year. So last season is over. It was historic in nature, 47 years in the making, but we have a new responsibility. And if we're serious about being a team that can repeat, if we're serious about trying to be a team that can be a dynasty, we have to bring our best every single day, starting tomorrow in practice. So, I don't want to live in the past. I want to live for today. I want to live for tomorrow. And that's going to take a lot of hard work, and hopefully our guys are up for that.
Michael, are there aspects of last season, I know you don't want to dwell on the past, but are there aspects of last season that you can audit and say, I know that we won, but they weren't good enough. We need to improve X aspects, and if so, what are those?
Oh, no doubt. I think for us, Mike, you always have to, it'd be poor judgment to go in this year and say, hey, we're the champs, we're good. So when I think about the areas that we really have to improve upon, number one is really weird. 2 years ago, we won 25 road games. Franchise record, I believe. Last year, we won 19 road games. and that was 11th best in the NBA. And I know that we were the number 1 seed, but I don't want to be a team that's below 500 on the road. We have to find a way to be a better road team. And how do you do that? Well, our defense. We were 15th in defensive efficiency. And I know that we're capable of being so much better. Why? Because during the season we were 3rd in clutch defensive rating. So when the game was on the line, we could get it done at a high level. And during the playoffs, our defensive rating improved drastically, especially in the NBA Finals. So, and then what part of your defense? Well, 3-point defense, we were pretty good, but transition, we weren't great. And then the paint. And if you break down paint regular season to paint playoffs, a dramatic increase. And the last thing I would say, Mike, in terms of the key areas of focus and improvement would be, we're always going to be a team that probably turns the ball over more than others because just the sheer number of passes per game that we employ. That's who we are. That's our style of play. But I don't know if you guys looked at it, but from regular season to playoffs, our turnovers and points allowed off turnovers was a drastic, almost a 4-point plus differential. And that is huge, especially in the postseason when it gets to be a slower game and a more possession by possession game. So, there's always room for improvement. And those are a couple of things that for me are probably most critical to our success. If we're going to put ourselves in position to be a team that can repeat, you have to be a better road team, a better defensive team, and a team that does not beat itself with turnovers.
Coach, last year, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. coming back from injuries and long absences this year. They're coming off of an offseason where they could hopefully just improve and get better. How do you think that changes kind of the context entering this year versus entering last year?
Well, I think last year there were some questions, like with Jamal, and he had missed over a year of basketball. I forget the number of days it was, but it was a crazy number of days where Jamal had last played a game. So it was like, how's he going to recover from his ACL? How's the season going to progress? Michael Porter had missed 73 games a year prior. How's his back going to hold up? And I think, when you look at both those guys and how they played during the season and then in the playoffs, now you go into this year not having those doubts, concerns, worries. Injuries are a part of it. That's unfortunately a nasty part of this business. But, speaking about Jamal, my goal for Jamal, my challenge for Jamal is to show that you can do what you did in 20 playoff games. Because what Jamal did in the playoffs was ridiculous. I know that everybody talks about the Nuggets and Nikola's a great player, and he is. But what Jamal did was incredible. I think 26, 10, and 5 or 6. The games where he put this team on his back and carried this team. Now the challenge is, okay, you did it for 20 games. You showed the world what you're capable of. I want Jamal Murray to be an all-star. I want him to be a first-time all-star this year. I want Jamal Murray to be an all-NBA player. And to do that, Ryan, what's he have to do? He's got to do it in October. He's got to do it in November. He can't be the slow start. The guys that are on top of their game, they bring it every single night. And I think if Jamal can kind of continue to play the way he played during those playoffs and get off to that kind of a start, that'll be so impactful for our group. But also, I think, continue to showcase his ability and the fact that he is an all-star and all-NBA talent.
Michael, the league has made a lot of changes regarding rest management and changing to awards just in time for you to try and repeat. How does winning a championship kind of change your approach to the regular season, and how do those kind of rule changes maybe impact how you're going to approach those things as well in terms of keeping the team in the right spot for a run in April?
Yeah, obviously the NBA is always trying to find a way to get the best players playing. And why? Well, because we want people to tune into their TVs and watch. And they're going to watch when the best players show up every night and play. For us, I think just trying to do things that we've done in the past, take care of our players, but understand that we have an obligation to put our players out there when they're able to play. I think having the number 1 seed and having home court advantage is real. That was impactful for us. I think we only lost 1 home game the whole playoffs, and that was game 2 of the NBA Finals. So, not that you go all in to be the number 1 seed and kind of win the battle, lose the war, but we'll take it as it goes. And obviously, playing into the middle of June is different than first round, second round. There's a lot of basketball. A lot was placed on these guys' shoulders and bodies, and also their minds. So, but we'll take it day by day, and we have a tremendous training staff that will continue to communicate with and figure out the best plan of action as we go along.
Michael, you just talked about the challenge for Jamal Murray. Jokic, multiple MVPs, is now a world champion. What do you see as the next step for him? What's your challenge for him?
You know, I think the greatest challenge for Nikola is to continue to find ways to be a leader, to be more vocal. You know, I never tell Nikola to go home and work on his lefty jump hook. You know, for years it was growing up, handling adversity, getting in better shape, getting stronger. And you know, he's a two-time MVP. He's a world champion. You know, but there's always room for growth. And you know, losing a guy like Jeff, losing a guy like Ish, you know, those guys were really important to our locker room because they were vocal and they were leaders. And so it all can't be placed on DeAndre Jordan. It all can't be placed on Reggie Jackson or KCP. Like I want Jamal and Nikola to take ownership of this team. And that's just another area of growth that Nikola's improved upon every year on. But I want him to get more and more comfortable with being vocal. And when he does that, it has such a tremendous impact on that group.
Michael, what's been your message to Peyton this summer, you know, ahead of a year when he can go from not playing that much to a big part of your bench unit?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, getting in the gym, working, improving. You know, obviously, he's got a tremendous opportunity in front of him, Harrison. You know, he was a guy that was a non-rotation player most of the year, and then when given the opportunity, went out there and played well against some really good teams and players. So, embrace the opportunity, but understand it's not just going to be given to you. He's got to continue to work for this and prove to not only me and the coaches, but his teammates that he's, you know, worthy of that opportunity. And that's probably the most exciting part of camp for me is kind of seeing how that second unit kind of shakes out. You know, Christian Braun, you know, he's been in our gym for the last couple of months. All of our young guys have been. What a tremendous offseason for them. Just their commitment to working. But what I love to see is that, you know, Christian's walking around like a guy who won a championship. Christian's walking around like a guy who won a game for us on the road in the NBA Finals as a rookie. He's walking around like a guy who won 3 state championships, 1 NCAA, 1 NBA, and he should. I mean, he was a part of that. And you know, I want Peyton to kind of get that experience and have that opportunity to go out there and play and feel like he is a part of this. And I have no reason to doubt that he's ready for that opportunity. And I'm looking forward to following, you know, being a part of that progression and maturity.
Coach, did you talk to Nikola at all this summer? Josh said he texted with him yesterday for the first time.
You know,
did you see how much fun he had?
You know, I made it a point not to be a helicopter parent. You know, I didn't want to be, hey, I'm coming to Serbia, or I'm coming to Canada for Jamal, or I'm, you know, going out to LA to visit, you know, Aaron or KCP. I wanted to give those guys room. It was a very short off season, and I wanted to trust in them that they can celebrate and have the summer they had, while also making sure they're getting their work in. And I guess we'll find out tomorrow at practice, you know, if guys have been getting any work in or not. But yeah, I texted with guys, you know, just to check in on them, let them know I was thinking about them, and hope that they and their respective families were all doing well. But I wanted to give them the room that I felt they deserved after everything they had given to this team and this city.
Coach, you know, you've obviously taken some time away from the championship. As a head coach, what have you learned about your job and just the process in general?
Yeah, that, you know, after you win a championship, you know, you celebrate it, you know, like I did. I had a good time on the parade, and after that for a while. But then my mind shifted to, it's a hell of an accomplishment, but, you know, no one cares what you did last season. And they shouldn't. I mean, as I mentioned earlier about the NBA landscape, you know, and how things can change so quickly. In a matter of a week, you look at all the trades that just happened and how things have changed. So I've been trying to wrap my mind about, you know, around how do I get our guys to understand that winning a championship was great, but that's over. We had success in that moment, but that moment is gone. We have a new opportunity and challenge in front of us. And that's what we've been meeting on as a coaching staff as we work with all of our young players in the gym August and September, and you know, conveying that to our group. And hopefully they understand that and buy into that. But you know, it was interesting talking to some coaches who had won a championship before, and one very prominent coach said to me that he still hasn't realized that, like, he's won a championship, and kind of, you always question yourself, well, how can I be better? How can I do a better job leading this group? Because after you win it, it's even that much harder. And I'm excited about that, I really am.
I just have one question. You mentioned the second unit. Everybody knows that the non-Nikola minutes are key. Do you still have high hopes for Zeke Naji? Where does he fit? Every summer, it's like Zeke looks great. Every training camp, Zeke is looking good. He's going to help. And just when he gets to the point where you think he's going to be jump into the rotation, he gets hurt. Where's your thinking on him?
Don't get hurt. You know, Zeke he's incredible. I mean, what a great kid, worker, high character, tough. When he was with that second unit, with Jamal, Bruce, Christian, Jeff, Zeke, the versatility that that group had defensively, and you nailed it, Chris. I mean, like every chance that Zeke has gotten a chance to play, he's gone out there and played well. But unfortunately, there's been an injury, and it's been an injury that has caused him to miss a significant amount of time. So I think for Zeke, you know, it's being healthy, being available, and going out there and playing his game. He's shown he can do it. Now the only question I have is that, you know, can he do it consistently, and can he stay healthy? Because that's going to be really important. You know, we have DeAndre, we have Zeke. Unfortunately, you know, Vlatko suffered the injury that he sustained. But you know, it'll be a really important year for Zeke Naji, and I hope that he can just stay healthy and he can, you know, continue to showcase his abilities on the court.
The last one in the back.
Coach, the Nuggets Nation believe in you, and you say how now if Bruce B is going anywhere. Any words you want to say to the Nuggets fans or Bruce B?
Yeah, I didn't have $20 million. It's and I will say this with all sincerity. I am happy for Bruce. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, Bruce helped us win a championship, and in doing so, Bruce got paid, and that's what this business is all about. You know, we give Bruce a platform. He showed, he proved, and he got rewarded for it. And there's no, you know, bad feelings about that. I love Bruce Brown and always be connected with Bruce and stay in touch with Bruce because of everything he did for this city and this team. So that's pro sports. You know, players come, players go, but no one will ever take away that, you know, the fact that Bruce helped bring the first championship in Denver Nuggets history.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.